Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the Practical Life. This is Ashley Nicole. Good afternoon. Happy, is it? No, it's not. Is it Thursday? Yes, it is Thursday. Happy Friday Eve. I hope you all are having a great afternoon. Y'all, I had to come in because I'm pretty sure y'all saw this interview. Y'all, did y'all see this interview with Ashanti? Ashanti was on, I think her podcast is called In Real Life with Angie Martinez. She has some great interviews on there. And I think I reacted to one of her other interviews that she had. I can't remember who it was. I cannot remember, but anywho, y'all have to look back at my streaming playlist. But yes, Ashanti went on there, and of course, this is not the first time Ashanti has done an interview. I believe she has been doing several interviews, probably the past maybe couple weeks that I've seen because she has a new single and stuff like that out. But in this interview, she gave us a lot of insight into what it was like being an artist, a female artist on on Irv Gotti's label. And I thought it was very interesting, especially because some of the things that she has posted on her Instagram and the past years or whatever, in previous times about certain things that she mentioned. So we're going to get into it. But I hope you all are doing well today. Make sure that you do something today that brings you joy. I did a community post, and I let you guys know one joy a day keeps all the bad ish away. Okay, so we got to ensure that we are checking in with ourselves and that we are engaging in things of that nature. And hold on, y'all. Um, let's see here. Okay, so now I'm gonna get right into the meat and potatoes of what she said because I don't really have much time today, but I wanted to jump on here and give you guys a live. So this video or this live is based on my opinion. It's for education and teaching purposes only. My channel is also for entertainment, so everything that I talk about, any images that I show, is fair use. You can check that out in the description box below. I am a therapist, but I am not your therapist. But if you need a therapist, I will leave also a link in the description box so you all can get a little bit of coin off of virtual therapy. So let's go ahead and get started. So we all know that Irv Gotti, he ran a record label, right? He had a lot of successful artists, a lot of successful songs, in the 2000s and things like that, right? All songs that we love, artists we love, things like that. And so I don't even remember when the his interview was on Drink Champs, but he was on Drink Champs, right? And which is kind of like a podcast on YouTube. But he went on Drink Champs, and it was him and Ja Rule, and they were kind of talking about the history with the record label, and just reminiscing, giving stories about what happened and things like that. And so Irv, it looked like to me in the Drink Champs interview, because I saw the Drink Champs interview, right? In his interview, he was a very it seemed like to me he got in his feelings when it came to Ashanti. And he wanted to let the people know what his feelings were, and how he felt about their situation, and what he did for her when she was on the label, and what should have happened or what he felt like should have happened and what didn't happen and all of this. And when he was speaking, I was saying to myself, oh, he hurt. He is very hurt by what happened or how everything kind of played out, right? Now, mind you, Ashanti, when you look at her today, Ashanti is very successful. She's successful in music. Ashanti has been successful on Broadway. Ashanti has been successful in movies. During the interview with Angie Martinez, Ashanti indicated, "Baby, I'm on a movie set right now. I got a 4 a.m. call out and it's 1 a.m. Ashanti works, okay?" So Ashanti is very successful. She has really paved her own, her own way, right? Now, when she started to talk about, now let's go back to Irv. So on Drink Champs, you can see that he was very much, it was giving, I never got over her. It was giving, why did Ashanti leave me? It was giving, I can't believe she did this to me. Like, I was like, Irv, why are you sitting up talking about this lady? Like, how many years has it been? I don't understand. Like, what's the problem? I don't understand how you still stuck on Ashanti. Don't even forget the fact that Ashanti was with Nelly for 10 years, y'all. A decade, 10 years. How are you still on anybody's show talking about this lady and what you felt like she did or didn't do? And then another thing that stuck out to me when he was talking was that he kept reiterating that, it's fine that she left. It's fine that, she was with Nelly or whatever. And y'all know that's close to my heart because Nelly from where I'm from. So I'm always gonna be, let me stop. Just kidding. I'm just playing. But that's hometown, you know what I'm saying? So but he did say, Irv was like, it's fine that she was with Nelly. It's fine that she left the label or whatever. But when she said she don't want to be part of this, and he put up like the little sign for his record label or whatever, that's what hurt him the most. What are you in fairy tale land? I was like, why is he continuing to say that? You are a grown man. Like, that sounds like high school to me. But anywho, so he was talking about, and I don't know, y'all, if this is the first time that we had ever heard Irv really talk about him being in a relationship with Ashanti. Now, how he could have been in a relationship with her, I don't know. I mean, I could see it, of course, but it was indicated that he was also married. He had it appears that he may have had a lot of side chicks. In the music industry, a lot of that stuff happens all the time, right? But I'm like, okay, it was just, I think this was the first time that I had ever heard him saying we were in a full-blown relationship. You know what I'm saying? I'm the reason why she wrote certain songs. And I was like, what? So I was like, okay, Earth's spilling a little tea. But then on the flip side, he also had some kind of Irv produces these shows that are on BT. I don't even know the name of the show, but I think he had like a show coming out at the time and stuff like that. And so, when people getting ready to promote something or something's coming out, celebrities, they usually do that. They go on a little promo tour, and I think it appears to me that's what he was trying to do, promote his show and stuff, but then he got in his feelings. And I think one of the factors of why he did get in his feelings is because he was on that alcohol. He was drinking alcohol, y'all. And if you go back and look at one of my previous lives, I talk about how alcohol can affect our thoughts, our feelings, overall our mental health, right? And so he was saying, "Oh, this is like strong." I don't know if he used strong was the exact word that he used, but he was saying, "Oh, this is something, I'm feeling the type of way, the alcohol that y'all giving me or drinking." And I can't even remember what he was drinking or what they poured for him or whatever. But that's what they do on Drink Champs, right? It's part for the chorus, you know what I mean? It's part of their show. And I think the only person that has gone on there that hasn't had a drink, it was a recent guest too. Who was it? Um, y'all let me know in the chat, or if you watching a replay, let me know in the comments who it was. It was somebody that didn't drink and they took a drink for him. Dog, it's on the tip of my tongue too. I forget who it was, but anyhow, back to this. So yeah, he was really, in his feelings, and I think alcohol played a part in that, of him telling a little bit more than he wanted to or intended to. And Ja Rule was on the side. You could tell that the way that Ja Rule was reacting. You can tell by the way Ja Rule was reacting that the situation was giving. It's giving, this is not what we came here for. Ah, it's giving, why are you telling people this? I mean, Ja Rule was like, okay, let me scoot my chair over here because he's saying stuff that I ain't never even heard. Like, you get the idea that this man, either two things, that either this man has been holding all this in for all these years and has never told anybody. He just been holding it in, which is not good either. You know what I'm saying? If you had these feelings about Ashanti, and I'm gonna get back to that because something just came, thought just came in my mind. But Ja Rule was like, now wait a minute, I've never even heard you say this stuff. Like, are you serious? Like, I didn't know this. And he was just going and going and going, and it's like he couldn't stop, right? But I think alcohol did play a role in that. I mean, at one point, I think it got so bad to where Ja Rule kind of excused himself a little. It's like, okay, I'll be right back or whatever. Or he let them know not to give him any more alcohol, because he was like, this is kind of getting out of control. This is not why we came here to talk about this particular situation or your feelings about that. He was trying to reel him in the best way he could. But Irv seemed like one of those friends. And I enjoy the interviews on Drink Champs, but sometimes when I hear like and I don't want to like generalize or anything, but when I heard Irv and Ja Rule talking together, like it looked like this is the way that they speak, and the loudness and their tone and their gestures and things like that. It's like just a New York thing, right? And I was like, wow, like why are they so loud? But I think that's like New York. That's like the swag of New York, the way. And it was almost like they weren't on Drink Champs. It was like, okay, we in our living room or we in our basement or whatever, or in our man cave, just shooting it up. You know what I'm saying? Like shooting the ish or whatever. We talking, we vibing, we drinking or whatever, and just talking and reminiscing, right? That's the vibe that I got from the interaction between Ja Rule and Irv, right? And it seemed like he probably forgot that he was on camera and he was just telling it all, his version of it all. And nobody had really like, what? Like, okay, you said what now? She said what? Okay, and it made you feel like what? Like, how did that happen, right? But I think again, alcohol played a part in that. So Ja Rule, he was trying to bring him back, but he couldn't do it. But Irv to me seemed like one of those friends that once he gets that way, once he goes off the deep end and talking and saying too much, especially if alcohol is involved or marijuana is involved or whatever, you are not going to be able to bring him back. Like it's one of those like you would be like shamed for him, right? It's like secondhand embarrassment almost. Y'all see what I'm saying? I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Like he talking so much to where it's like, okay, like you embarrassing me. You know what I'm saying? But can't nobody really bring him back once he gets to that point. And also it seemed like to me it may be you better not even try to bring him back because he's gonna go off on you too. And I feel like this is only if alcohol or you know what I'm saying is involved, right? So I would say like he really don't need to be drinking because it don't the result doesn't come out well. Um so now let's get to Ashanti. So Ashanti, like I've never, let me know what y'all have y'all heard anything. I've never heard anything negative about Ashanti. It appears that Ashanti kind of keeps her private life very private. Um it's like I think it's rumors or whatever out there that she is seeing somebody or dating or whatever, but nobody really knows who it is. The only person that we knew that she was dating was Nelly, and that was for like 10 years. We didn't even really, that I'm gonna speak for me. I didn't even know, and not that I should know, right? But I didn't even know Ashanti was dating Nelly until they probably like broke up, you know, or said that they was breaking up. And I was like, he was with Ashanti? When? I mean, so nobody even really knew that, right? So it appears that she keeps her life very private. She does a lot behind the scenes because if she was like, oh, I'm on a movie set right now, like she continues to make new music. She's working with a lot of artists. Like she is doing very well. So on this interview with Angie Martinez, right, she opened up a lot. And so she gave her version of what happened between or what is going on between her and Irv Gotti. Now, in my opinion, this is not good for Irv because in my therapeutic opinion, it shows this man as trying to have power and control over at the time this female artist that he had, right? And I wouldn't doubt that this uh happened on other labels. I mean, this probably happened all the time, child. This probably happened all the time with female artists, you know what I mean? And trying to get into the music industry, trying to get yourself out there and, trying to make it or whatever, with being a singer, artist, or whatever it is, right? This is probably not the first time that this has happened. And this is probably not the first time we heard about this either. I mean, it probably happened all the time. But the things that Ashanti said that he said would say to her, it was a very alarming. Like, and it made me think of some stuff. So she was saying that he would tell her stuff like, she would say, oh, I want to work with this producer. I want to work with different producers and I want to, write songs with other people and stuff. And he would tell her things like, no, nobody wants to work with you. Like, we're the only ones that you can work with because nobody else wants to work with you. um he would tell her things like, I made you the person that you are. I made you look like the way that you look. This is the only reason why people, want to listen to your music or want to be with you or whatever. And she used the words in the interview like her being gullible. Um, she used the words like we were a family. And so it made me think that, you know, the result of someone continuing to say those things to you, right? Like, first of all, why would he say those things? She was a female artist on his label. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but was she like the first female artist on his label? She was writing songs, the songs were doing well. And so, on one hand, for him to say, no, nobody else wants to work with you, like, we the only ones that you got. It's no need for you to be going out trying to work with somebody. They said they don't even want to work with you, right? On one hand, it's like, okay, you don't want her to do that because you want to keep her on your team because things are going well. Like, you want to get ahead because, like she mentioned in the interview, he was making millions of dollars. off of what she was doing, writing, singing, or whatever. So it's like, okay, I'm going to get successful, but I don't want you to get to the next level. This is almost like, kind of like not with what he said or anything, but the fact that you bring someone on, get them very close to you, uh get them to a point where they're kind of leaning only on you. They have to come to you for things. They need you because you're telling them, and they're starting to believe because you said it so much, and also because other people aren't really reaching out to them to work with them, right? So they like, oh, well, maybe that's true. Maybe nobody wants to work with me. For It's for you to gain the benefits and for them to not get to the level or potential that you know that they can get to. Because if they do, they're going to surpass you. This to me sounds like the same situation as Armand Wiggins and Jason Lee, right? Because some people say, well, dog, this person doesn't have that much of a following. Think of Ashanti. At that time, she was just getting out there. So it's like, okay, well, why would someone that's way above her level do something like this, right? It's because they know the potential that that person has. And if you allow them to hit it, they're going to go past you, and they don't want them to get there. So it kind of, sounds like that. Or so that's why the power and control kind of enter into the situation of kind of bad mouthing her, intimidating her, using his privilege, right? This is all on the power and control wheel. I kind of showed you all the power and control wheel before in one of my previous lives, but he was using male privilege, right? He was making all the decisions, for her, about her working with other people, acting like he was the one who has to kind of control everything in the record label. She had kind of like no say so, right? And so it's kind of like, okay, these are the reasons why he would do it, but what does it result in for her? Right? It would be that at some point, if somebody continues to say these things to you, you start to believe it because nobody else is telling you different. And I mean, she was in her early 20s. So, the self esteem, she had to have some type of self confidence to, you know, I would assume, right? Because she was able to write songs successful, and the songs were successful. um she had, been persistent and persevered to the point where now she is on a record label, so there is some self-confidence there. But when someone who is at that level that maybe you're trying to kind of get to start to tell you these things, it's like at some point again you start to believe what they're saying. And she started to accept the behavior from him because, again, she mentioned things like, we were a family. When we were at the recording studio, they would be, acting like men or whatever. And she would be cooking like it was a family to her. So it's kind of like, okay, some people think, okay, if I leave, then that's lost, or they don't want to be the reason that something fell apart when everyone else sees that we are a family or feels like we are a family. So I was thinking, like, is that why she really kind of accepted the behavior? On the flip side, it appears that Ashanti may have a supportive family or like a close knit family. It's her dad, it's her mom. She has one sister there. They appear to be very, very close. So I wonder if she ever expressed what was happening to them, to her parents. And her parents, they've been married for a long time, right? So I wonder if she ever expressed to them like what was really going on. Or was it a situation where if they knew, people maybe just chalked it up to like this the music business, you know what I'm saying? This is how things go. until we get to the point we need to get to, this is what we got to deal with. But I'm here to tell you, like, no matter what situation it is, like, nobody should have to take that. Nobody should have to go through those things to get to where you want to be. And if this person that's doing that is saying no, then that just means we got to go to the next person. Eventually, someone is going to say yes. You know what I mean? Like, you really got to kind of have that mind frame, that mindset of that you don't have to accept that negative behavior, because from what she said, he would cuss at her, he was throwing f-bombs, almost like an abusive relationship, right? So what did it result in? Her believing that she was really what he was saying, um and her accepting the behavior due to loyalty, due to wanting to stay in that quote unquote family environment, right? They were kind of building from the ground up, and she was kind of part of that. You know what I'm saying? Um, Now, she also, so then when she was saying this, I'm like, oh man, that goes back to power and control. That goes back to, kind of exhibiting abusive behaviors. Now, I don't know anything about Irv and his previous relationships and things like that, but this relates to Ashanti because if you all have ever seen, like, Ashanti has put things on social media about her sister being in a domestic violent situation, and you all can go look for yourselves. But I think this was it in 2018? Either Ashanti posted something, about her sister, saying, I'm so glad that she got through this situation. I'm infuriated. I'm angry about what happened, but I'm glad she was able to come out on the other side. And they showed pictures of her sister and what she looked like when and I think the sister was married. I feel like the sister was married. What the husband allegedly did to her. And y'all, it blew my mind. This lady was missing, she said 8 of her teeth were, I don't know if they were knocked out, or she said 8 of her teeth were gone. Her face, she had a black eye. It was blood everywhere, y'all. And I said, this is an abusive relationship, right? The sister said that she used to be thrown to the floor, she was threatened, she was you know, just abused, right? And thank goodness she was able to get out of that situation. So there are some similarities in that. And the sister was saying that she stayed because she was hoping for the family that she wanted to create. She was hoping that that would happen at some point. This is one of the reasons why she didn't leave. Because what I talked about before, people have these fantasies about what their life should look like, right? And now that you've kind of created it in the fact that you've got married, you've had the kid, right? It's like happily ever after, right? But sometimes that's not the case. But you are continuing to hope for that. And then you also have hope for the kids, that I don't want to be the reason to break this up because of the kids, but you don't stay for the kids. You see what I'm saying? Even going back to the lady, the country singer that was on what's her name? Jada Pinkett's Red Table. She said the husband cheated on her. She can't even count how many times, right? But she stayed because she had to choose what what parents home she wanted to go to during Christmas time, because her parents were separated or divorced or whatever, and she didn't want that for her kids. So that's why she stayed. That's why she stayed, so that they could they could see on the outside right? It's like keeping up appearances. They were seeing, you want them to see what's on the outside, but not caring about what's in the inside. Because you could still have them there at Christmas. Y'all look like y'all together, but guess what? They gonna sense the energy and know that the energy ain't right. Oh yeah, we are here together, but they don't really like each other like that. Like they gonna sense it. So it's not gonna be a Merry Christmas after all, you know? But you don't want to be the one that's at fault or feel like you're at fault or, you know, uh be blamed for quote unquote separating the family. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, there are some similarities between Ashanti and her sister about accepting uh negative behaviors and kind of not getting out of that. Now, where does that come from? Who knows? I haven't, seen any information about the parents not getting along or the parents being separated at some point. Because like I said, the parents have been married for shoot 30, 40 something years or something like that. Now, that doesn't mean that stuff hasn't happened in their relationship because people could be married a long time, but it's not a happy marriage. You know what I'm saying? And things could be happening in the home or whatever. And Ashanti keeps her private life very private. So no one would ever know that, right? But the thought process of accepting that comes from somewhere, but I don't know. I don't know where, right? So she then indicated that once she started to, ask him about working with other people, he kept telling her no and this and this. Then she kind of started to separate herself. And then I guess at some point she met Nelly, right? This lady said, and this one I said, now Irv, you said what now? You said what? You gonna do what? To who? Girl, she said that Irv was threatening. And so Angie said, wait a minute. Angie be killing me. Angie said, wait a minute. He threatened you. He said he was gonna do something to you. And so Ashanti said, nah, not me. But the people I was dealing with. And I can only assume that could be Nelly, not Irv. You need to stop it. But I feel like that's him just like talking stuff. And she was like, I don't know if it was serious or not, but I don't know. Right? This lady said that she feel like Irv want her unalive. And Angie said, now come on now. And I was with Angie. I said, he what? You really feel like that? Like, I feel like if Ashanti is at that point where she feel like he want her unalive, like for what? Why would he want that? Because he think y'all was in a relationship and you broke up the relationship? Why? Because you dated Nelly? I mean, I don't understand this. And then Ashanti was kind of showing a little bit of passive aggressiveness too, because you could tell she was mad when when Angie kept saying, the relationship y'all had. She said, I don't know why you keep saying relationship, y'all. She said there was no relationship. And I said, well, shut my mouth wide open because this man said on Drink Champs, y'all was in a full-blown relationship, girl. He gave examples of y'all being in the same apartment, getting out the bed. Everybody in the, y'all had to take a shower or whatever. And girl, you was sitting up in the car writing happy. That's the way he made it seem like. But Ashanti said, girl, what relationship? We never been in no relationship. She said he's sitting up here just lying. I said, well, I'll be. I said, what? He, but why is this man lying? Like, have y'all ever encountered people that it's like when they tell a story, some parts of the story are true, but then they just be putting too much sauce on it. I feel like Irv, that kind of person, like the way he presents himself when he tells stories, like he gotta over exaggerate. And maybe that's what it is, maybe not, I don't know. But then Ashanti is kind of like, okay, it's crazy because not that we have to choose a person to believe or whatever, but it's like, who do you believe? Like now, because he didn't said all of this, and we like, okay, well, why would he say all this if it's not true? And then she come out, excuse me, with her side. It's kind of like, well, who is telling the truth, right? Because I would imagine that Ashanti want to keep it kind of detached from the situation because she got stuff going on and she don't need to be wrapped up in this kind of mess and all this stuff that he's talking about, right? And then him on the other hand is kind of like, okay, he was fueled maybe by alcohol, but then it's time for people to know what really went down. So it's interesting. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So so yeah, so she was saying they were not in a relationship. Um and she said that she started to because things got really really bad, and I'm sure she left out a lot of details. Things got really bad, so she removed herself from the music industry and went to Broadway, and we didn't see her for a while. And now that's true because it's a point in time where we don't really remember her coming out with any music, and stuff like that, and she went to Broadway, and it kind of, she said, exposed her to a lot more things, kind of expanded her skill set. She was able to get away from the drama and the negativity and all of that. And then she also said that, we were not in a relationship as well because this man was married at the time. And she said several times on that podcast to Angie that he had a lot of women. A lot of women. That's what she said. He had a lot of women. Ah, and I don't put it past him. I don't put it past his butt. He probably did. He probably did. But it's like, why are you sticking to Ashanti? And so now Ashanti said, and I believe this too. She said that she feel like he went on the show to promote whatever he had going on, right? And he kind of talked about her because it's like a mystery, right? Whatever situation they had is like a mystery. Some people, people know a little bit of detail, but they don't know everything, right? And people have been kind of plugging in their own information or putting, the puzzle pieces together on their own. But he gave a little bit more detail about the situation. And so she feels like he did that for ratings, right? Because more people will watch whatever show he got coming out. But she didn't know, or he didn't. She said she felt like he didn't know that it was going to backfire on him, and I believe that. I believe that. I feel like though that he couldn't have possibly thought that people were going to go against Ashanti because there's no reason to go against her, right? But he was drinking that alcohol, see, and he said more than he intended to say. You see what I'm saying? So she like, I don't think he thought that it was gonna happen this way, but she feels like people are now seeing the real person. This is who he has always been. Because if you talk about somebody like that in the public, right? You on Drink Champs, you talking about this girl, you talking about details of her relationship with Nelly, and that ain't even your business, right? That's her business. And you saying all of this, you just reckless with the mouth. You know what I'm saying? What are you saying about this girl behind closed doors? How are you acting when it's only you and her? How are you acting when it's only you and Ja Rule? Ja Rule probably have heard a whole bunch of stuff this man didn't say it. He probably didn't heard a whole, but he tried to be the neutral friend because Ashanti was like, I reached out to John. I'm like, why you let him say this? You already know what it is. And he like, I'm trying not to get in between y'all. I feel like y'all going to be in a better place at some point. So I'm not trying to get in between y'all. And I feel like Jai is like, I can't control this man. You see, I can't control him. Can't nobody control his mouth, right? Which has probably helped Irv up until this point of being successful too. He is like he cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? He'll say whatever, whenever, so he can get things done, you know. But and so in the process, he damages relationships, you know. So it was a very interesting to see that interview. I feel like gave us a little bit more insight into Ashanti, and that was a great interview. And then at the end, like I feel like it be some interviews that I watch. Let me know if y'all experience this too. Sometimes when I watch interviews of people like past artists or artists from the 2000s or whatever, right? And I see that interview, it make me I want to go listen to their music. And as they were talking, right, I was like, oh, this is the perfect ending to this interview. As they were talking, and it was the interview was ending, and they kept talking or whatever, and her song came on. It was like, ooh, and then the beat dropped. I said, go ahead, Angie. This made me want to go listen to that song. I said, Ashanti know exactly what she was doing. I said, oh, she didn't got the song on, reminiscing now, whatever. We getting ready to go listen to that. So Ashanti ain't losing on no front. She ain't losing on no front. This man need to get over this lady. Like, if she says that they were not in a relationship, what makes you think that y'all were? Or is it that you just felt like you had control over her because she was on your record label? Like, and she was one of them people, because she said at one time he wanted her to either invest or put all of her money into his accounting firm or something like that. And she was like, why the hell would I do that? It ain't got the company ain't got my name on it. You show right, Ashanti. You show right. See, she was one of the ones that he couldn't play with. She was one of the ones he couldn't play with. So is that what you mad about? Is that what you mad about? Because like I said, Ashanti don't seem like she hurting for nothing. But in my opinion, Irv need to leave that alcohol alone. He need to leave that alcohol alone. He needs to make sure he stick to the script when he go on these interviews, because it seemed like to me the way Ashanti was looking at her affect is that you ain't got so many more times to get up on these platforms talking about me. You know what I mean? And I ain't said nothing all this time. I've been cool, I've been calm, getting to my bag or whatever. But every time, here you come talking about something that happened 20, 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all. That was interesting to me. I just wanted to come and kind of interact with you all, give you all another live for today. I got a lot to do, as always. As always, I hope your Thursday is going well. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. Of course, I have more to come, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Bye.